Come with me to see Mr. Dennis in his final weekend in Mamma Mia, Hamburg. We left ridiculously early and I was so excited that I didn't sleep at all the night before. The roads were super clear, so it was a really quick drive to Heathrow, thankfully. We found the car park pretty easily and then made our way into the terminal. Checked out the status of our flight to Hamburg, which was on time, thankfully, and went through security, etc., and then finally boarded the plane and took off. Germany, here we come. The flight was only about 1 hour 15 minutes, and I did truthfully have a little snooze. When I woke up, we were already over Germany and it had been snowing. It looked so pretty. We had a bit of a bumpy touchdown, but finally we were here. Mr. Dennis, here we come. As we were only here for one night, we went straight to the exit and past baggage control and made our way straight outside to try and find our taxi. It was absolutely freezing, like bitterly cold and really, really icy. We had about a 30-minute drive to where we were staying, and I just loved seeing all the snow and being in the new country. And it was really quick, actually, really quick journey, and I was getting so excited to get there. Mr. Dennis had recommended the hotel. It was called the Boston Hotel, and it was only a 5-minute walk to the theatre, so it was really convenient. It was so cute and bougie and really warm, as honestly, I could not get over how cold it was outside. We checked into our room, which was on the top floor. It was lovely and spacious with a nice big and walk-in shower, dressing room area. Oh, hello. A nice bedroom with lots of light. It was really, really nice. Nice cool TV, and it had the most comfiest bed ever. Like, it was marshmallow. It was just gorgeous. We then decided to go for a little walk, so we stumbled across the best fish restaurant in Hamburg, apparently. The mussels were insane, and I had some delicious lobster soup. Ooh la la. It tasted incredible. Honestly, I just want to go back there to eat it again. It was so good. We went back to the hotel, got showered and changed, and decided to take a little scenic route through a local park to get to the theatre. Well, the reality is my map actually was wrong and took me the long way round, but the theatre was actually on the same road as our hotel, so I don't even know how that happened. But regardless, it was a nice snowy walk, and you know, we took in some local sights and we found the theatre finally. I honestly thought I was going to keep falling over though. This path was so snowy, but there's the theatre. I was so excited to see the Mamma Mia sign, and we just walking up to the entrance. I was getting such butterflies in my tummy to see Mr. Dennis perform. It was just such an incredible feeling, and it was such a lovely theatre as well, and everyone was just so buzzing outside. We were really lucky to have a backstage tour by the main man himself, Mr. Dennis. It was so good to see him, and he was really proud, showing us all his schedules and all the technical backstage schedules and rehearsal schedules. It was just really interesting seeing how much thought and planning goes into everything and how they take care of their cast. Oh, and that amazing fruit basket that all the performers get. I didn't steal anything, I promise. But yeah, he kept showing us all the things, and there was just so much to see, and I just felt really, really lucky and honoured, you know, to see everything backstage. We did the full backstage tour. Mr. Dennis was really, really lovely and showed us everything. The first thing we saw was the girls' backstage changing area. There were so many costumes. It was crazy, and it was so organised and tidy, just Miss Emma style for sure. We then went on the actual stage of the actual set. My younger dancer self was screaming. Just an incredible moment. Mr. Dennis explained how the set all works, and then we went to the side stage where a secret mirror is hidden behind the curtains, so the performers can check throughout their performance whether their masks are on straight, you know, whether they just want to see whether they're looking okay, you know, and all the cool props that are around. It was just really incredible to be backstage and share this moment with Mr. Dennis. All the props were really cool to be fair. I was in heaven. Honestly, the side of stage was enormous with a massive warm-up area, and this is a blooper wall where they write down and date all their bloopers on the flats, which they then wipe off at the end when the flats get taken down. But I thought it was such a brilliant idea. And oh yeah, there was a random hanging cow in the rafters. It was amusing. Sorry about that. This is where the naughty performers get sent down these stairs. Jokes. It's where the stage lift is, where Donna and the Dynamos come up in the finale. I really wanted to go down there. I'd love to go on a stage lift. It would just be amazing, but we weren't allowed down there. No one's allowed down there apart from the cast that actually get to go on the lift. We made our way back into the huge backstage space where Mr. D showed us where his head mic is kept and how he fits it for every performance. I just loved how organised everything was. They clearly have a fantastic backstage team, and we were just really lucky to get to see how everything was organised and everything's labelled, tagged, laid out so neat. Honestly, I was in my element. I was in my dream, and it gives me loads of ideas as well for when we do our shows and how we can be just as organised backstage. Not that we're not, but you know. Mr. Dennis then took us into the boys' backstage dressing area, and of course I had to see where Mr. Dennis sat. I was like a kid in a candy shop this whole backstage tour. I was just so excited. Everything is laid out for him by his dressers. It's just incredible. All the attention to detail, all the hard work. It really truthfully is a team effort. We then sneaked a little bit further backstage, and we went into hair and makeup and said hello to the cast who were in it where they were getting ready. They were so chilled, and it was only 30 minutes until curtain was up. Mr. Dennis then took us into the auditorium, and wow, what a beautiful and modern theatre. I just had to take it all in. Imagine having all those faces watching you and cheering and clapping you. That feeling is just priceless. I mean, look at all those seats. It was such a fantastic theatre, and I just had goosebumps. So God knows how Mr. Dennis feels. It was so nice to have this moment with him, and I just felt so incredibly lucky to be there, and I just felt like a proud second mama, that's for sure. But honestly, look at this theatre. It was just stunning, and the seats were fantastic because they were really tall, they were really comfortable, and they were really spread out. It was just a really beautiful theatre. The show was obviously in German, but it was amazing. Seriously, what an incredible cast. Their vocals, wowzers. Every lead had the most incredible tone, and I was mesmerised from start to finish. I got all teary and emotional seeing Mr. Dennis when he first came on the stage. I honestly did feel like that proud second mama, and I was dancing and whooping and making noise the whole performance. And of course, I made everyone get up and dance during the finale. We were all up on our feet. The atmosphere was incredible, and my hands were stinging from all the clapping, but the atmosphere was fantastic. Everyone was dancing, everyone was singing along. It was such a brilliant finale, completely feel good, magical, and just so much fun. I even now I'm just smiling. It was brilliant, and just seeing Mr. Dennis up there having the time of his life. We were just so proud of him, and I couldn't stop smiling. But it was a fantastic finale. If you haven't seen Mamma Mia, regardless of what country it's in, please go and see it. It's brilliant. As you can see, the lighting, everything, it was just so bright and flamboyant and gorgeous. And I'm actually not an ABBA fan, I have to be honest, but the music, it's not like ABBA music at all. Well, that's a really ridiculous thing for me to say. Obviously, it's ABBA music, but it was just such high energy. It was so much fun. It was like really, I call it KISS, keep it simple, stupid. Everything was just simple, but amazing. You know, no crazy bananas set, but what they had was effective. The lighting was effective. Had this massive moon that came down. It was just amazing. The foyer was full of energy afterwards. You could tell everyone had such a great night. They were all smiling. I was smiling. I couldn't stop singing the songs. I was just walking around that foyer just feeling so incredibly proud of what I've just seen. We collected Mr. Dennis from backstage and we jumped into a taxi and we went back to central Hamburg. It was another really, really cold evening, but it was a great taxi ride because we were just talking about the show and seeing Mr. Dennis buzzing after his performance. It was really lovely to be part of that experience. We took in all the wonderful sights on the way to Hamburg, this beautiful river, and I just love a river at night time, all the lights anyway. We went to an amazing restaurant in Hamburg called Alex's, and it overlooked that river, and of course we had to get a little cheeky cocktail to celebrate Mr. Dennis in Germany. We also had something to eat. It was a really lovely restaurant. The atmosphere was great. Mr. Dennis was really happy, as you can see, and yeah, there you are, there's our little cocktail. Cheers, Mr. Dennis. Woke up the next morning feeling pretty refreshed after having quite a big lie-in. The weather looked pretty cold still, so I got myself all showered and wrapped up and nice and warm in my winter whites to head back into Hamburg because we were going to go and do some exploring. We made our way back to the reception area and checked out. It honestly was such a lovely hotel. It was really warm, really welcoming. It was just a wonderful stay and a wonderful stop. After we checked out of the hotel, we jumped into a taxi back into Hamburg again, and we actually went back to Alex's restaurant, as the food was chef's kiss, honestly amazing. My salmon salad was awesome and Marco's burger was delicious. It was even colder today, if that was possible, but we had a mooch around Hamburg and took in some really historical sites. I always make sure when I travel, I go and see places and take in their culture and history, not just to learn, but to be respectful to the cities that I travel to and all the history that they hold. The pavement, oh my gosh, it was like an ice rink. It was so icy and we were like slip sliding all over the place. Thank God I'd bought like these chunky winter boots, because every step you're taking, you're like, I'm going to fall on my bum. And no doubt, knowing me, I was going to fall on my bum. But luckily, I didn't. But it was lovely walking around. I mean, look at this church. Look at it. It's just a massive part of history in Hamburg. It was really gothic, really quiet, really eerie. The church was sadly bombed in 1943 and the remains have been preserved. So the back of the church has completely been wiped out and they've managed to keep the front of it. But just walking into it, like, I'm really funny when I go into church. So I have to touch a wall and think how many people have touched the bricks on this wall and how long have these bricks been here. Like, honestly, I'm a big history geek, but it was just really, really sad to get out the back and see, you know, the remains of the church. But also remember, I was standing there remembering, or imagining rather, how incredible that church would have been and how enormous it would have been. It doesn't do it any justice, this video. It was insane. But yeah, it was truly spectacular, and I would have loved to have seen it intact. But, you know, by this point, we were literally like a frozen ice blocks. So we started our journey back to the airport a little bit earlier. It had been a short flyby visit, but I honestly felt so happy and so lucky and so honoured to be a part of Mr. Dennis's final weekend and get to be a part of his wonderful journey and see, you know, his time in Hamburg, where he's been staying, you know, his little life over here. He's had such a wonderful time, and the airport was really quiet. It was really weird. Like Heathrow, when we came out, was just so busy. Like the security lines were massive, but we went straight through security, and you know, before we knew it, we were walking to the gate and making our way onto the plane. And of course, there had to be a storm in the UK when we were landing, and our poor pilot tried to land 2 times before finally getting us down safely. It was really scary and I was clinging onto my seat for dear life. And when we actually landed, the captain came out at the end and we all shook his hand and gave him a clap because it was so scary. But it really was great to be back home. We had the best time. And Mr. Dennis, what can we say? Thank you for our visit. We are so incredibly proud of you. Thank you.